Macmillan Audio presents The Rhythm Section by Mark Burnell, read for you by Elizabeth Knowelden. Character is destiny. George Eliot, Mill on the Floss. Let's make us medicine of our great revenge to cure this deadly grief. William Shakespeare, Macbeth. 0617 Greenwich Mean Time / 0117 Eastern Standard Time. Outside, the temperature had reached -52 degrees Celsius. Inside, it's a constant 23 degrees Celsius. Outside, there is speed. Inside, there is stillness. Outside, the air pressure is consistent with an altitude of 37,000 feet. Inside, the air pressure is equivalent to an altitude of 6,500 feet. Made from aluminium and assembled near Seattle, the dividing line between these two mutually hostile environments is just 2 millimeters thick. Martin Douglas had his eyes closed, but he was not asleep. The occupant of seat 49C, a resident of Manhattan and a native of Uniondale, New York, Douglas focused on his breathing and tried to ignore the tension that was his invisible co-passenger on every flight he took. The airline's classical music channel piped Mahler through his headphones. The music took the edge off the drone of the engines, masking the tiny changes in pitch, every one of which usually accelerated Douglas's pulse. Now, however, with soothing music in his ears, and with the fatigue that follows relentless anxiety starting to set in, he was almost relaxed. His eyelids were heavy when he half opened them. An in-flight movie was flickering on the TV screens above the aisles, but most of the passengers around him were asleep. He envied them. On the far side of the cabin, he noticed a couple of cones of brightness falling from reading lights embedded in the ceiling. He closed his eyes again. When the explosion occurred, Northeastern Airlines flight NE027 was flying over the Atlantic, bound for London's Heathrow Airport from New York's JFK. Including flight crew and cabin crew, there were 388 people on board the 26-year-old Boeing 747. First Officer Elliot Schweitzer was drinking coffee. Larry Cook, the engineer, was returning to his seat after a brief walk to stretch his legs. The lights on the flight deck were dimmed. Outside, it was a beautiful, clear night. A brilliant moon cast silver light onto the gentle ocean below. The stars glittered above the aircraft. To the east and to the north, the sky was plum purple, with a hint of bloody red along the curved horizon. The countless hours spent in a 747 simulator, combined with years of actual flying experience, counted for nothing in preparing the pilots for the physical shock of the blast. Schweitzer's coffee cup flew free of his grasp and shattered onto the instruments in front of him. Cook's seatbelt was not properly fastened, and he was hurled into the back of Schweitzer's seat. He heard his collarbone snap. Instantly, the flight deck was filled with mist as the howl of decompression began. Captain Lewis Marriott reacted first. Attaching an oxygen mask to his face, he began to absorb the terrifying information that surrounded him. "Rapid depressurization drill." He turned to his co-pilot. "Elliot, are you all right?" Schweitzer was fumbling with his mask. "Okay. I'm okay. You fly it," Marriott commanded him, before turning to check on Cook. "Larry?" There was blood on Cook's forehead. His left arm was entirely numb. He could feel the break in the collarbone against his shirt. Gingerly, he hauled him.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?